Hello, my name is Ray Pradlak, and this presentation will discuss the current disaster management programs in the Republic of the Philippines. Consisting of 7,107 islands located on the Pacific Ring of Fire in Southeast Asia, approximately 500 miles southeast of mainland China, the Philippines has the 12th largest population in the world at over 96 million people. With a gross domestic product of over $250 billion annually, the Philippines has resisted the recent economic global downturn with above-average economic growth, although 27% of the population remains living below the poverty line. The country is administratively divided into three island groups delineated by northern, central, and southern areas, which are progressively subdivided into regions, provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays or neighborhoods. These administrative jurisdictions will be discussed later in this presentation in their context of emergency management responsibilities. The climate of the Philippines can vary by location, but generally has three seasonal periods characterized as hot and dry from March to May, rainy from June to November, and cool and dry between December and February. The Philippines is commonly described as one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world due to the numerous influences resulting from natural, technological, and intentional causation. Geographic location, climate and climate change, limited socio-economic capacity, lack of modern infrastructure, and even intentional human factors all contribute to a high level of vulnerability throughout the country. As a result, these conditions are manifested as tropical storms, with all of the associated wind and hydrologic-related damage, earthquakes, volcanoes, mass land movements, floods, transport accidents, armed conflict, and urban overpopulation. According to the Citizens Disaster Response Center, there were a total of 431 natural and human-induced disasters in the Philippines in 2011, which resulted in 1,774 fatalities and impacted 15.3 million people. Of the 302 natural disasters reported worldwide in 2011, the Philippines accounted for the most, with 33, while comparatively China reported 21. Statutory authority for disaster management in the Philippines is derived from Presidential Decree 1566, which was passed in 1978 with the aim of strengthening nationwide disaster control and preparedness. From this legislation, the modern components of mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery are based. According to the National Disaster Coordinating Center, the disaster management structure within the Philippines resembles the common international trend with a strong policy of bottom-up implementation. Presidential Decree 1566 requires all 43,000 regional, provincial, city, municipal, and barangay administrative jurisdictions throughout the Philippines to develop functional interagency cooperation regarding disaster management. In addition, all jurisdictions must develop and exercise emergency response plans, most critically starting at the barangay level. Other policy initiatives of PD 1566, which were founded on the principles of self-reliance at the local level and individual activism, include the requirement for local authorities to employ all available resources before requesting assistance from higher levels of government, and the assignment of authority for disasters spanning multiple jurisdictions to provincial governments. As a result of PD 1566, the National Disaster Coordinating Center was created within the Department of National Defense, which further established national and regional disaster management support facilities. In 2009, the Philippine Disaster Risk Management Act was created to modernize disaster management programs and policies within the Philippines with a focus on institutionalizing the National Disaster Risk Management Framework to reduce vulnerability, improve the capacity for recovery, and increase resiliency. As a result, federal budgetary allocations were established for comprehensive new preparedness and mitigation programs, supported by several new disaster management agencies at various levels of government. In addition, a national emergency alert system was also created. Rationale for the current disaster management policy and programs in the Philippines is based on the understanding that the local population is in the best position and has the most to gain from direct involvement in disaster management initiatives. Furthermore, based upon the high frequency of disasters in the Philippines, the federal-level disaster management system could not cope without the critical initial participation of local and regional administrations. As a result of the Philippines Disaster Management Act, the capacity to mitigate, prepare for, respond to, and recover from disasters has been significantly increased through the collaboration of local administrations and the federal and regional governments. Based on a strong sense of civic involvement, a high level of individual resiliency gained through experience with disasters, a comprehensive national disaster awareness and public education program, mass media promotions, and various government-sponsored initiatives, a broad culture of disaster mindedness has developed in the Philippines. Disaster management programs in the Philippines are conducted by such diverse agencies as civic and non-government organizations, religious and social groups, military and civil defense, all levels of government first responders, and international partners such as USAID, Emergency Management Australia, the Asian Disaster Preparedness Center, and humanitarian organizations such as the Red Cross and United Nations. As with any disaster management program worldwide, the Philippines faces numerous obstacles which undermine their disaster management capabilities. Some of the most critical issues are described in the Philippines Disaster Management Story, published by the Asian Disaster Preparedness Center, and include gaps in functional coordination between stakeholders, deficient communications and transportation systems, poverty, corruption, insufficient medical capacity, lack of enforced building codes, and the ongoing armed conflict in the southern areas of the country. The well-documented and sound progress of the disaster management mechanisms in the Philippines displays the country's determination to increase their capacity to deal with such issues in a progressive and methodical manner. Well described by the Asian Disaster Reduction Center in the Philippines National Disaster Management Program, the capacity to manage disasters has been earned in the Philippines with a depth and strength gained only from the crucial lessons of recent disasters. However, these challenges are matched only by the citizens' capacity to overcome such hardships with resiliency and hope for a better future. Thank you very much.